and then just figure it out. And I'll be honest with you, there are plenty of shows where if you want to be late and do like a half-ass
If
situation,
you want to just roll up
right,
on stage in the middle of a
figure it
scene,
out.
there are shows out there for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Do that up. But that's not the kind of stuff I want to be involved in. I like to do a crisp show that has work put into it. And people have spent time, like, developing characters. Like,
that's what I mean, the difference between the mentality of the weekend warrior and the professional.
Sure.
That's what I mean. It's a mentality, and it really is a mentality. Because whenever I put that pitch before a bar owner, if they turned it down, I never came back. Even if you called me and offered me that again, nope, I will not do it because you didn't bite on that and you didn't want professionalism to begin with. Yeah. And I don't want to work with people that don't want professionalism.
Yeah, but how do you speak to the idea that, it's in a smaller town, in a smaller town there are fewer opportunities. So you can't really be all, hey, guy, if you weren't professional the first time, you could live in a town with 3 bars. You have to deal with all 3 of those bar owners if you want your job to be...
When I lived in Portland, Maine, I literally knew every single bar owner. There were all of 25 bars in town. Like, it was an incestuous industry. Like, my band's between 5 Foot Ficus, Project 7, other bands that I worked with, like Nip and the Nub, stuff like that. I worked everything from jam bands to cover band to original heavy metal. So, in Portland, like, I either worked at or my bands played at every single bar there at some point. So in between that and my recording, I knew all of them. But they all knew the fact that I was professional. If I was bringing in my rig, I was bringing it in hours early. I was not going to be disturbing their business. Mm-hmm. Like, there's still, even in those small places, it may be a different definition of professionalism. But there's still, like, a level. There's an expectation of something.
Yeah.
And that's really what it comes down to, is your expectations, and what you put on a situation. I'm one of those people that once I realized that I could manifest something, that if I put enough energy into it, enough positivity, and it was a good, right thing to happen, it wasn't anything that was going to, like, put anybody in danger, cost anybody a career, anything like that, that if it was a good project, it would happen.
Sure.
Like, it would happen. It would just organically happen. All I had to do was put the push behind it. Just at the small of the back. And it would happen. If I have to force the hand of fate to make something happen, is it supposed to be happening?
Yeah.
And that's how I've come to look at things. And that's why...
I don't know. Every project I've ever done has been something I've created. Like, well, not every project, but, like, a significant portion of the things.
Sure.
And unfortunately, almost none of them have been things that I've been paid for. I mean, very recently, I get, we get a cut of the neighborhood. But at the same time, it's like, it's kind of different. All the jobs that I worked where I got paid were different kinds of things.
Well, and that's where your measure of success comes in. Because is it a monetary value? Mm. Is it a fulfillment value? Because one's going to happen before the other. And hopefully you'll realize that you've got your day job. And then you've got this other thing, and for some reason, whenever you do this other thing for 3 hours a week, like for 2 days, you feel high. Mm. You feel energized. You feel like your brain's just kicking, it's moving, it's going. And that's called a passion. And there's nothing wrong with making money from your passion. You should be making money from your passion because that's what's going to carry you. That's the long-distance bullet.
I don't know. Some people argue the opposite, honestly.
It's not the shotgun. That's it. To do otherwise, I'm not going to say, like, my dad loved tires. He loved sales. He grew up with it. The man was good at it. So that was his passion. He loved doing it. He loved traveling and he loved selling. My mom, not so much. Her passion was teaching. Her job at Wilson Business Products was a means to an end to support 2 boys while she went to college and they helped pay for it so that she could be a teacher and leave that job to do something that's still a job. Like, people think that there's this dream of self-employment, and you came to the realization about 2 months after you left your job at Print Globe and were self-employed that, whoa, like, you do a lot during the day. Like, because you were at Print Globe, you had no idea how much, like, I was sitting at my computer and working and doing stuff and digging for gigs and looking for work and making it happen. Like, if you had the opportunity to put those 8 hours a day that you're spending putting energy into something for somebody else, into your own project.
Yeah, but that means that a person would actually sit down for 8 hours a day. And, like, I mean, I sit down for some hours, but not 8 hours.
But you have to, is the thing. Like, you have to be willing to put just, even if you look at half as much effort, even if you put 4 hours a day, 5 days a week, that's 20 hours a week into your own project, into your own passion.
Yeah.
You know? And that's what can turn it. That's what can make it to where once you start seeing that, once you start seeing the possibility, then you start redefining your concept of success. And our concept of success, even as this family unit now, is still, are our bills paid? Are we okay? That's it.
No, it's okay. Our bills are paid.
Yeah, we're good. We're good, T-Man. You know, like, it's not about, like, how are we going to go out and get a new flat screen TV? How are we, you know, stuff like that. The only things like that we buy are typically toys for my business that make more money.
Oh, God, your toys.
I know, but they make more money. Like, they enable me to do other jobs to make more money.
I've heard that story.
You know, it's a reciprocal system, and it feeds into itself.
Yeah.
But, you know, it is the fact of redefining your concept of success.
So you think that when people in New York and LA are all like, they're seeing their concept of success as fame, as larger reaching. But, I mean, I know tons of people who have a huge audience that, like, they're not famous, but they have hundreds of thousands of listeners.
I told you earlier,
the world is filled with niche markets. There's nothing to be done.
One of the guys on my show in Washington, D.C. found some random person in a bar that had my podcast's app on their phone.
Right.
They don't even know me.
Yeah.
They don't even know him. He was talking about, my buddy's doing his podcast up in his room right now. You know, all that. Oh, really? What's it called? Oh, Dudes and Beer. Whoa, I listened to that. Check it out. You know, and, like, that's a random person in Washington, D.C. I've never met him. I've never done a promo push in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
You know, how did they hear about me? I guess I'm internet famous. I had no idea.
Sure, maybe, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we've had episodes that were banned in countries. All kinds of stuff, you know. We've had some adventures over 2 years.
It has been interesting to, you know, when you meet people who are interested in stuff, or even, you know, there are people that like the podcast, there are people that like the sketch show, different kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
There are people that like our baby. You know.
Well, and you know, just like for me in your industry, I'm more into the sketch than I am the improv.
Oh yeah.
You know, sure. Whereas musically, I'm more into the improv. Like,
I see.
I'd prefer to work with the jam band all night as opposed to a scripted band all night.
Huh. Yeah. Well, but a jam band is still more structured sometimes than an improvised comedy show. Improv comedy can go anywhere. And whereas, like, a band who does it is a jam band generally has, like, this is this song, and then it just goes on for 25 minutes. in a different way, but the basic idea is still the same.
Well, yeah. I mean, really, it's the fact of we're going to start off with this, and from this we could go these 3 ways. You know, and it's like building a branch on a tree. It's like building a decision tree. Yeah. You know, like this song could lead into one of these 2 songs. It depends on who hits what chord when, as to somebody going, oh, okay, that's where we want to go. Cool. You know, and like even me as the sound guy hearing that one chord and going, oh, that's where they're going? Okay. And like dialing in my delays and getting things ready for that moment.
Well, but that's the thing, too, is that, like, that's secret ways of you being communicated with.
Yeah.
Technically, in improv, the, like, deepest essence of performing it would be that no one knows where it's going. Not even the people who are performing it. No, but you are, like, accessing this energy of the universe that's leading you down the path of creativity.
In music, it's called synergy.
Synergy.
I
believe they call it that in startups as well. Synergy.
It could be, but it's a synergistic moment. It's something where everybody is on the same page. We're all moving together. It's like whenever you see a group of grackles, like taking over a parking lot, and when one moves, they all move, and then it just looks like this big amoeba moving through the parking lot because they're all moving together in the same way. Like, they instinctively do that. We instinctively do that as people. If you're willing, and you teach people how to do that through improv, you teach people to kind of trust that moment, move with that moment, things like that. That directly relates to life. Once you learn to feel that little tickle in that moment and be in that moment, move with it, it's just about not being scared.
Yeah.
It's just about not being scared. And believe me, as a man, there are moments where I am scared as shit in life because business ain't been what it's supposed to be. You know, stuff like that. So as this programmed man by society, you know, there are things that I'm supposed to do to fulfill for my family and make ends meet and make things happen. So that kind of feeds on me a little bit sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it can certainly take you away from the creative flow, for sure. But I think that that's kind of all of it. And part of me feels like, I remember hearing, you know, things like, I feel like it was Jerry Seinfeld or something that had said, like, when you have kids, it makes you work harder when you do this kind of thing. Because your efforts... You want to keep living in the world you've been living. You want to keep doing the creative stuff. But in order to do that and to take care of these kids, you have to work twice as hard.
That's right.
And I'm into it. Oh, you know, like, that seems fine. I don't know, I guess...
I'm about it because regardless, even if I had a day job and was working at Joe Schmo USA down the road selling like bicycle inner tubes... That's what we specialize in.
Oh, is that what Joe Schmo USA is selling?
It is.
Bicycle inner tubes.
Yes, we sell a panoply of bicycle inner tubes.
I didn't know there was a panoply. I thought maybe there was a single company that provided
it depends on what kind of, like, you got a dirt bike, you got a mountain bike, you got a street bike, you got a racing bike, you got a tricycle.
This sounds like another passion you might have.
I know a lot about tires.
Even if you
because of my dad.
Even if you worked at the tire store, what? This is the beginning of this.
Once the baby comes along, I would work twice as hard.
I see.
The difference is I'm working twice as hard doing what I love doing. So it's not really actually work. I tell people all the time, I don't understand how you can be upset with your job that you've chosen. Like, we get paid to play with people's expensive toys all day.
Yeah, but that's the Catholic guilt again that I feel, which is like anytime I actually feel bad.
That's your hang-up.
No, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you're telling people, be happy because you're doing, you know, but I'm like, I feel bad that I can do it, I guess. I feel bad.
There are people getting paid like a quarter what I get paid to say, welcome to Walmart, how can I help you?
Sure.
You know? And that's what they have to do to get by in life.
Right.
hey, for some people, just like for the people in Poughkeepsie who have reached that level of success and they're there and they're happy and they don't need to move to New York to be happy. It's about measuring your level of success and happiness as a person and what your actual, distinguishing between your needs